Hello, my name is Scott. I'm here to give a quick overview of how the Walipini was designed, built. Basically, I'm going to talk about some of the things that how we started, why, and how the project kind of got moving along and where we're at right now. The structure was built on top of concrete blocks, different sizes. The structure is roughly 20 feet wide by 60 feet long. It's 8 feet in the ground. There is drain tile around the outside perimeter to evacuate the water as quickly as possible, because a hole in the ground like this would normally attract water. So we want that water gone as quickly as we can to reduce moisture troubles in the greenhouse in the future. So we put also 12 feet of gravel around the outside perimeter of the building to help keep that water at bay. Then we installed 6x6 pressure treated beams all around the outside perimeter of the building to bolt on these custom-made trusses. Instead of putting them 4 feet on center, we put them 2 feet on center. We made them out of box tubing, 1 inch wide, 3 inches tall, to give us the extra strength because of the low-shaped roof might collect snow. And so we want to make sure that it was durable and long-lasting. And then a double layer of plastic put on. Corinne, who's an expert on greenhouse growing and so on, she wanted to have the plastic cover that was going to use a water and condensation collecting so that it doesn't drip as much on the inside, which was an excellent idea, as we found out in the coming years after the fact. Then the plastic is fastened on with aluminum channels and stainless steel locks. And it's kept at 1.25 pounds pressure between the 2 layers of plastic, and that's what gives it its bubble appearance. That also helps in insulation value, but it also gives it a certain amount of added strength during storms of freezing rain and, of course, wet, heavy snow that we often get in March and April. There's a staircase at either end. One is the utility staircase that would probably be used by workers in the summertime. But in the winter time, we found that the staircase, because you're going underground, it actually caused the snow to funnel into the staircase, especially in the winter. What we decided to do is put a staircase and put a cover over top of it and put a sliding door, a barn type door, so that way that the snow drifting around it and so on would not be a problem, so Corinne and other workers could easily access the building. Inside the Walipini, the concrete block face wall, normally we would leave the concrete opened and so that you could see it, but more importantly so that it would gather heat so we could extract the heat. But in the cold climate that we have, frost goes down far enough to say that with insulation on the outside, it's not quite enough. The cooling of the block, the first year that we did this, the block extracted so much warm air from inside that the Walipini would not stay warm at all. So we decided to put an insulation value, about an R15 foam, XPS type foam, on the inside here to give us a nice, solid, rigid insulation value. Then we decided to line the inside with plastic on the inside to stop the wind from traveling through the blocks should there be any drafts, but more importantly to stop moisture from coming in through the blocks. Concrete always attracts moisture. And because it's a warm side, the cool temperatures would condensate moisture on the inside. The system that we use to heat the soil, because this whole building, the Walipini, is off-grid, the solar panels have to generate enough energy to keep ventilation working, grow lights operating, and then of course circulating fans in the summertime to keep the heat out that's being built up. But most importantly in the wintertime, where it's longer in the winter, the cold months, we decided to come up with an idea of using a solar furnace that we made, and the air is piped down, as you see in this silver, goes through this fan, and it drives through underneath, and it heats the soil through 2 pipes that run down through this whole bed of soil, which is 8 bins, which is roughly 32 feet. So we have about 120 feet of pipe in the soil, heating the soil. This system has worked very effectively. The fan turns on at 55 degrees Fahrenheit and shuts off at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. On a good sunny day, we can generate as much as about 40-45 degrees Celsius, or about 105 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature in the solar furnace. But next to the whole solar furnace, there is a box that's got an angle face to it. See, it's black. It seems kind of a strange box, but it's the fourth in the line of a dehumidifier. We only have about 40 to 50 watts of energy spare to run a dehumidifier. But in a building like this with plastic walls, as in any typical greenhouse, dehumidification is absolutely necessary to prevent a lot of diseases in the plants in the soil. So we are trying to figure out a way to do it with minimal energy use. It doesn't exist. We can't go buy one. But so we decided to design something, and so we have this unit. It is functioning, but I believe that I can get it a lot better. We'll have further updates on that probably next year, because the next new one is going to be coming out probably in fall.